So welcome everyone. This is the playbook for the AI transformation method. Now, if you haven't heard of the AI transformation method yet, what this is all about is this is the method where we come into your organization and we equip every single employee that you have to produce every single role deliverable faster and easier with AI so that the transformational productivity gains really do occur. Now, there's a lot of hype around about AI and getting these transformational gains. And it's our fundamental belief that if you don't give your employees the skills and the roadmap to implement this, then you won't actually see the results that you're looking for. Now, the elephant in the room, let's address that. Like, can AI really help my team do its job better? Well, in our experience, AI actually knows your job and it knows how it can help you do faster and easier for every single deliverable, for every single role in every single organization on the planet. And I know that sounds like a really massive claim, but if you have not had a lot of experience with large language models. Now, as you'll notice today, when I'm talking this through, I'm using ChatGPT as the basis, but all of what I'm showing you works equally as well on any of the other large language platforms that are out there. So I'm just going to run you a demonstration just to show you how much AI really knows about your job. Now, this demo here, this is a GPT that's been written by one of my colleagues to show you how ChatGPT really understands your job. Now, if we just tell it to get started, and that would be good if it started. Yep, good. Now, we can give this as much detail as we like or as little detail as we like. Obviously, the more detail and the more context you give it, the better. So what we can do is copy your LinkedIn profile and pop it in here. You can put in a short description of your job title, or what I'm going to show you is even if you just give it information, and I'm going to choose sales manager. So that's all the context that I've given it today. And I'm just going to get rid of that. So what this is doing now is it's identifying the top 8 core competencies that a sales manager would need to be successful in their role. And then underneath that, as you can see, the table's broken down into 8 role deliverables that, if they performed all correctly, will help you to meet your core competencies. That's a mouthful, and I've got to practice saying that, I guess. Now, what can happen now is you now have a matrix of 64 role deliverables that are specific to that role. And bear in mind that this is a draft form. If we were doing this for you and personalizing it for you, we would take you through so that you can adjust and get to the point where it's probably 95%. These things are never going to be exactly perfect, but done is always better than perfect. So let's look at what would we like to explore further. Let's look at sales campaign plans and see what AI tells us about that. So how can AI help with sales campaign plans? So first of all, what it's going to spit out for us is a campaign plan outline with bullet points. And that's your big picture overview. Now, from this, it will create your standard operating procedures. And something to bear in mind, given my years of experience in the corporate world, sadly, a lot of companies don't have standard operating procedures for a lot of the roles that get undertaken in their organizations, and they simply rely on the incumbent to know what to do or to pass that information on when somebody new comes. So as you can see, it's now given you the steps that you would need to do. So let's move on to the next step and see how AI can actually speed up this process. So what it's now telling you is how you can go through each of those steps and look at what ChatGPT can do for you. And it's also given you prompt suggestions, what you could delegate to a VA or somebody in a lower pay grade, and then also what is also required for you to do. So this addresses one of the concerns that I've heard many times is that, oh, AI is just going to take my job away. Well, we always need a human in the loop when we're doing this, because at the end, there needs to be a set of eyes to review and make sure that what ChatGPT has given us actually makes sense and it hasn't done any hallucination. So let's just say yes, let's move on to the next part of the process. And again, these are the specific prompts that, and it did some of them in the first one. So every time I run this, it's slightly different, because when you run a ChatGPT, it's not like a computer program where, you plug something in and you get exactly the same output out every time. And this is what we talk about when we talk about refining the process as well. Now let's analyze the time saving for this particular deliverable. So it's going through and estimating the time saved by implementing AI as your assistant. So freeing up 66% of your time just for that deliverable. So let's look at what are the potential time savings across all 64 of those deliverables, broken down under the core competencies. And you can see that, and in our experience, usually AI is very conservative in their estimates of how much time you will save. So what you can see here is this would cut the workload doing that particular role deliverable by 60%. Now, let's ask it's asking a couple more questions. Are you ready to explore how your life could change over time if you fully commit to starting and completing your AI role plan? So let's have a look at what this could look like for you. And every time I press the button, I'm thinking, oh, is my internet going to be too slow today? So right from the get-go, from the very first day that you actually start implementing this process, you will see changes in how you do your job. Day one, week one, month one, and year one, and decade one. Now, decade feels like a long time in the whole AI iterations and processes. And what I feel is that if you don't choose to put AI into your role at some stage soon, what's going to happen is your competitors will, and you will get left behind. So I hope that's helped to outline for you how we would break this role down for you, and just a snapshot of how AI could help you. Now, what we are also talking about with the AI transformation method is that in our training, we take people who are complete novices, they might have sat down with ChatGPT and played around and put a few things in, but never really actually understood how to use it properly. Now, what we have here is these are results from a recent group of people who completed our black belt training. And the difference with our training too is it's not just come to the training, here's the 8 modules that you're going to learn, now off you go and do them. After each module, there is homework, and you need to demonstrate that you are capable and you've understood and you can apply what you've just learned. and we get you to apply what you've just learned to one of the role deliverables in your AI role plan. But also what's key to note here, and this has all been calculated out based on an employee who's paid 100,000 a year. So we've looked at the time saving and the productivity gains, and this was what was reported after the first hour of training. And on average, it's around about a $4,000 gain per team member who goes through the training. Now, as you can see, I'm not going to ignore this last bit. There is always somebody in a group who doesn't think it's relevant or necessary, or just simply doesn't want to be involved. What we find is that once we get further into the training and they have that light bulb moment, that click when it all seems to come together, they then become the biggest advocates because they've gone from one extreme to the other. And also for organizations, this is another metric that we measure. Each time that you submit your homework and you put in how much time that you've saved with what you've learned on that particular module, we also ask people on scales to give us their feelings and how they're feeling about it. And you can see here that people are reporting it's improved their work-life balance and helps them enjoy their work more. And I know for me personally, this part here allows you to be more creative, which means you spend less time on the repetitive work, and then you have actual time to stop and think and to be creative in your role. Now, these numbers here are averages from a whole group that has submitted their reports. Now, what I wanted to demonstrate for you now is an example of one of the solutions that one of the members in our consulting group came up with during his particular training. Now, this member runs his own marketing agency and is learning is expanding into being an AI consultant as well. But the essence of what he was writing about when he created this ChatGPT is, for a marketing agency, often you go to a new client and they're asking you to provide a deliverable, but you don't really know that much about the industry or the client itself. So it can be quite time consuming to get up to speed and also to deliver good results. Now I'm just going to copy this prompt down, and now I'm going to jump back to ChatGPT, and we're going to run the AI marketing agency ChatGPT. Now this one has been written to produce a sequence of emails to your ideal customer profile. So I'm just going to click Let's Get Started. Now it's asking me here to give the information in terms of I sell product that helps role achieve results. So what I'm going to pop in here is that I sell AI training to leaders to help their employees produce every single one of their role deliverables faster and easier with AI, and we generate immediately an average productivity gain of $4,000 for every employee in the first training session. So essentially that's what we are talking about today. Now, with a marketing agency, when you give them that sort of information, the first thing that they will do is employ psychology experts to do an in-depth analysis of what the psychological triggers are for your customers. And this can be quite time consuming because they actually will spend 20 to 30, sometimes 40 hours interviewing people to come up with, what are the dreams? What are the dream outcomes that your customer wants? So productivity, competitiveness, cost efficiency, transformations. What are their past failures? So if they've tried to solve this problem before And in our example, perhaps they've had AI training before and literally they haven't seen any changes, or all it's done is frustrate the people in the workplace. What are the fears? What are the unspoken fears that your customer has? And I just mentioned wasted investment or overwhelming their employees. And also, what I find is quite common at the moment too is resisting the change, because there's suspicions. There's suspicions behind, this is a new fad, or this isn't going to last. What are the enemies that might prevent your customer from moving forward? Budget constraints, competing priorities, previous failures, etc. So now that the analysis has been done on from the psychological point of view, let's get our brand story experts to work their magic. So the brand story expert is creating the framework. This is the HERO framework. And for those of you who work in marketing, you'd be familiar with this. So this is the framework that then the copywriter, which was the next one in the team, will work with. Now they're going to produce some emails, because the whole point of this GPT is to produce a series of emails. So I'm going to say we want 3 emails, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So these are the draft emails that it's coming through now. And I'm not sure what your experience with using large language models is. Sometimes the first drafts are quite good. Sometimes they're not so good, maybe 60 to 70% on the mark. But what we're going to do now is we're actually going to ask AI to critique what it's just created by giving it a different role. So now we're going to say, as a creative director, now I want you to review the output and tell me what changes might need to be made before we present these to the client. So the creative director's gone through, and these are the suggestions for changing. So when you do this process and you go through a couple of iterations, you're not going to get, sorry, I'll just do this. We're ready for the final drafts. The final draft that you get will be good. It may not be perfect, because this is where the human element still needs to come in. You still need to review that and make any edits that you feel would be necessary. But you have a really, like, it's almost there. You've got a 9 out of 10. And then your input is going to bring it to a 10 out of 10. So we're ready to wrap up this project. Now, what we're going to see now is the estimate of how much time and how much money that this whole process would cost if you got a marketing agency to do this for you. So there you have it. It took longer for me to explain it than it did to actually get to that output at the end. So as you can see, total hours saved and total dollars saved. So for digital marketing agencies, this is going to be an absolute game changer. But it is also going to mean that those who don't embrace AI and learn how to use it could possibly get left behind. So how do we know all this is real? Now, Simple Consultants, and I'm a member of the Simple Consultants group. At the beginning of the year, back in January 2024, the idea was that we thought we were training people to be ready for the launch of the next generation models, training people to be ready for the future so that they could implement AI. And then in July this year, one of our consultants, when he had a cohort that got to the blue belt, he actually asked them to submit a transformation report, because up until, and this is how quickly we're evolving as well, up until then, we were just relying on people to tell us, when they could, how much time they'd save. But now we've formalized it into a transformation report. So we're actually gathering data at every step of this process. And as early as July this year, we still thought that it was going to take people till they got through to about, the 5th step in the whole training sessions to actually see the big productivity gains. And then early this month, early August, we had a group who started, and they started measuring from the beginning. And since then, we've measured more. But this was the first group where it really opened our eyes to the fact that you don't have to complete the training before you actually see these gains. And we are at this productivity tipping point. But for most organizations, when they're considering AI, they're focusing on tools, and they're not really focusing on the people and how to help them be more productive. So whilst ChatGPT is a tool, this whole issue is not a tool and a technology problem, because if you focus on that, that's when you hear the whole, well, AI is just going to replace me, and employees can get very fearful and very resistant. But when you actually show them how you can make their particular role more interesting and more creative, and they can actually start to enjoy their role a little bit more, that's when you get people coming on board. Now, who's to blame for this? Well, and I'm the same. Up until a few months ago, before I joined Simple, I felt overwhelmed because all I could see was, people were bombarding us with, get this bot, get this tool, this will create amazing presentations, this will do this for you, this will do that. And all of them were individual tools for individual tasks, but they weren't tools to do a complete task. And then also, there's so many people out there, with I've got 1,000 prompts for ChatGPT, or I've got prompts for this. And the issue with having, 1,000 prompts is, which one do you use? And how do you know that you've chosen the best one? So that's where our stepwise methodical process, underpinned by ChatGPT, but based on somebody's specific role, makes a lot more sense for organizations. Now, why now? Now, this is your once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to become the AI hero in your organization, because somebody at some point is going to get the credit for bringing the AI solution to your organization. So it should be you, but you actually have two options today. You can lead, and it will happen because of you, or you can follow and it will happen to you. And this is an opportunity that really only comes along once in a lifetime. And this is going to change the way that we do our work and how we all interact. And I can imagine you're asking yourself, why should I trust you? Well, we've all been in your shoes. And I'm part of a community of over 100 fractional executives. Got to get my words straight today, with experience across a broad range of industries. For myself, my background is in food industry and packaging and sales and marketing, and all of those areas. And we have an amazing community that are all contributing. All of the work that you see today is from the input of the whole community. It's not just like, okay, we'll just go off and do this and see if it works, because we've all contributed based on our knowledge and an experience. So how does it all work? I mean, I've talked a lot about AI role plans and the AI transformation method. Well, the first step is quite simple, is we actually create an AI role plan for you and your team. So we'll use AI and we will create this matrix for you. And that's normally done in a workshop. Step 2 is learn the fundamental AI skills that you need. So this is our black belt training program where we take you from white belt, which is getting comfortable with all of the base model tools. Like, how do you actually interact with ChatGPT and what can you ask it? I don't know about you, but I'm quite enjoying using the new voice feature, which came out a few months ago. That's only on the app on the phone, by the way, but it is really handy if you're out and about. And also, one of the things I really like is its ability to summarize either a really, really large file for you, say, for example, a 400-page PDF. You can get a 1 to 2 page summary in, literally 20 seconds. So there's all of those sort of things that I guess, unless you actually sit down and learn, these are all the fundamental skills, you don't think to use them. And then we take you through using AI in your role, how to actually build your AI assistants, that's the GPTs, how to analyze roles and get that 100 times improvement, how to actually work with AI agents. So what I showed you before, that agency tool, with the marketing agency, that's an AI agent where literally it's how do you put a whole bunch of GPTs together so it works properly. And this is a new, we're just revamping the black belt and we're adding automation with API. Oh, I've gone the wrong way. Where are we? So step number 3 is, you're probably thinking, oh, this is all well and good. There's training, there's this, there's that. But we also have a cadence for accountability and results. I've mentioned a number of times the transformation reports where we actually measure the hours saved and also the thoughts and feelings of the people as they're submitting their homework. Now, how this all works is that we actually have a platform that you log into, and all of the individuals' GPTs, recordings of how they've done things, all sit in that platform. And when you have somebody who works through how to do all of their role deliverables over a period of time, I mean, to do all 64, you would be looking at least a year. But once that's done, then you have a huge training library for that position as well. And the person who's done it is probably skilled up and ready for a promotion. So how do I get started? It's the AI Transformation Method Masterclass. Now, you're here at the moment doing the playbook, and then you sign up for the platform, and there's a 3-hour on-demand course for you to go through. And this will, there's a certification at the end, but it gives you a really good understanding of the whole transformation method, of creating your role plan, which is stage 2. And then once you've done that step, then the next step is when I would come in and I would train you in black belt, which is steps 3 and 4. And then step 5 is when you continue working on your role deliverables for the balance of the year. So what are your options? For taking the next step, you can sign up today for this platform. It's free for now. It will be regularly $2,000 per year per company. That will start in 2025. That's my link there. If you want to sign up, do so now. But I mean, when you think about it, you have 3 options today. You can do nothing and just let everything flow around you and let somebody else take the credit for being the AI hero. You can try and learn it on your own. I'm not saying that we're all rocket scientists and you can't learn this, But what you're seeing now is the culmination of 18 months of work. Or option number 3 is you can take the AI transformation method masterclass right now. You can sign up today. And then once you've done that, you may then choose to do further work for me or with me, sorry. So that's it for now. Contact me once you link up on here. All of my contact details are in the platform and we can take it further from there.